Welcome to Modern Hackers. Please subscribe and do not forget to like the video if you have enjoyed. Hi everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of Hoonicorn Mustang cam block car build. We're starting with drying the kit, because if you remember the previous episodes, it was painted and varnished with 2-component paint, and we need to provide enough drying cure time to the paint before we will polish it. In the meantime, painting the small parts like exhaust pipes and interiors with Mr. Color chrome paint, or you can use silver paint as well. Also the brake discs and the wheel holders. As Mr. Hobby, silver paints are forgiving. You don't need to worry too much about that. You thin enough and go ahead. No dusts going into it. Also the radiator I have painted with silver. You should not overspray the radiator. The cage, the rolling cage, the better if you go with small nozzle airbrush like 0.2, not to waste the paint to the air. This is a 3D printed element. Okay, the base plate, I already attached and mounted the engine. It will get the same color. I printed this model, if you remember, on the previous episodes with the standard Anycubic Photo Mono X standard printer that time that was available. This is the inner body. I painted with Mr. Color simple semi-gloss black paint. Okay, the seats, I painted the same semi-gloss black. Driver dash. The back side of the radiator. I used also silver paint. back side of the base plate. Also silver paint for giving. You should not overspray these elements because just collecting the dust. The wheels are painted with Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color golden paint. The paint codes will be available in the description of the video. This paint similar for giving like the chrome Mr. Color, getting to the surface without any issues, as nice as the base preparation and primer was. The rubber wheels, I used the rubber-ish material. It's a Tamiya color, XF color codes representing rubber type wheels. Again, you will find this color in the description of the video, the paint code. I used the same Mr. Hobby leveling thinner for this Tamiya XF paint without any issues, and the surface was also so nice. The paint did not came off, even it was not a lacquer based paint. I painted the remaining flip side of the spoiler that was in the previous video, painted the other side. If all paint cured, let's go ahead with surface preparation, some sanding. If there was any dust on the surface, so if you paint with multi-layers of varnish, you might get some dust in it, and this is the right timing that sand a little bit, and with polishing compound, polisher heads, remove the imperfections. I just used the 3000 grit paper for sanding, and after I used 3M polishing compounds, first a high cut, then a medium cut, and then I finished with some hologram remover. So usually a 3-phase polishing can happen, but if you go with 2 compound varnish, maybe just a basic polishing compound and the shinier hologram remover could be also enough. So it depends on your surface and your dust it's getting to it. So it depends on the base paint, how the base paint was perfect, then the varnish went onto the top of the base paint. So the sanding, necessary sanding is just based on the part that you dealing with. So it doesn't necessarily mean each part you have to sand. Most of the case just some polishing is enough. Also it depends on the thinning ratio, how you made it. If you had enough thinning ratio, then not too much polishing needed. I try to do the polishing equally, so I put the varnish 4 or 5 coats to each element, and I applied for the special element high cut, regular element just a medium cut, and then after the hologram remover. So I use this blue polishing head, sanding head for polishing for its high and medium cut compounds, and I will use later on the video the red head for the hologram remover, which put shinier the surface. You need to monitor and watch the sponge health and sponge status until the sponge is functioning and flattening out the surface. You good to go. You need to regularly check and replace if needed. You need to be careful with the small parts. You can quickly over sand or over polish, and on the edges removing not just the varnish, also the paint. So you should not over polish, over sand this. Just get it shiny. The hood, I did see some dust in the varnish, and just remove the dust, flattened equally to be ready for polishing. Again, started with high cut polishing compound, then continue with medium cut. You should do it until you do any imperfection, and you need to keep in memory that you only have, for example, 4 or 5 layers of varnish, so you should not go over on this. Otherwise it can go down till the paint, or in this case you can see the decals, so you should not over polish. But if you're not sand or polishing enough, then you not have a perfect surface without any imperfection, so you need to make the deal. Every imperfection and every dust came out. This 2-component varnish was forgiving. It's help for a beautiful look. Just the dust I had to remove. Very little dust was in during the varnishing of the paint. The 2-component varnish is more durable for polishing, dealing better, maybe curing a bit longer. It had to cure more than a day, so minimum 1-2 days, unless you have a curing machine. You did see in the beginning of the video I have a dryer machine, which is a fruit dryer, and with 30-40 Celsius you can dry, and it's speeding up a little bit the drying. But this 2-component paint has its own chemicals in inner, so it doesn't mean it's fully dried. Inner is curing, so when you will touch with your hand and cured enough, then only sand. If I don't use the dryer machine, it was cured in 1-2 days also for the small parts. Maybe for the larger parts need more. I usually use with a cure machine, just a little bit speed up, but you should not put to high temperature the curing, because it can cause other chemical reaction. Just provide the hot room temperature, just similar, while hottest temperature in your room, that's the better. You did see in the beginning. I went through all details of the body with these sanding sponges, polishing sponges. You should not go to the edges, just to be careful. Go to the straight surfaces. If you go to the edge, just remain very short amount of time, or apply a different head, not this flat sponge. It can quickly remove the varnish and paint from the edges. This red head is rather a finishing head, and combine this finishing stage with the lightest polish compound, 3M hologram remover. That's put a nice shiny surface to the end, similar like waxing, but it's not putting a wax layer onto that. It's rather give a shiny layer and very low cut characteristics. It's finally removing any remaining scratches. But the medium cut compound should already removing the scratches. It is really put the shine. . I go back with this soft head and hologram remover for each element. This gives ultimate glossy finish look. And after polishing, remove the polishing compound. If you wait these compounds to dry, you can wash, but also there will be some remaining elements that you will need to remove from a very soft cloth, like glass cleaner cloth or photo glass cleaner cloth. Seeing together all polished parts is beautiful. If you see the original cam block Hoonicorn, there is also a kind of metallic plate on the body around the exhaust pipe. So I replicated with this method. I just measured the RL with the masking tape first, mark, and cut out from this adhesive material. It's a metal with adhesive, thin metal paper, and it's glued automatically because it has an adhesive on the back side, the line to the surface. I selected this method instead of painting silver because of multiple reasons. It's more realistic, like a real race car. And other is that if you paint silver and there are masking leak happening, then you need to remove and sand back the paint. That's not convenient. So it's better look and feel. I recommending that. This plastic silver with adhesive. You can use this same material for covering any engines or exhaust pipes. Just an idea. I cut out the exhaust from the material and now fitting. Even it's a race car, I painted the roof internally to black with acrylic paint. It's not hurting the already painted lacquer paint. Just give some standard color. The window for these 3D printed models is always a critical part. So you have to measure the size of the window. Maybe the best is measuring with this masking tape. Throw it, and then you will have a cut form what you need to replicate. I attached to this masking tape to a transparent plastic film, a thin 150 micron thin plastic material, and I cut out after. So that was my solution for this, to how to replicate a real life window for a 3D printed model. After I cut out based on this sample sheet. Have this material fitting into that. Maybe you need to cut with some scissor around, have the rounded shape, but this thin and this thickness gives forgiving adjustments. Draw with some acrylic pen the edges of the window, these rubber edges, some flat matte acrylic pen, so not lacquer pen, acrylic pen. If anything goes wrong, you can remove. You don't need to worry on that. I used glue type epoxy resin glue for the windows fitting. It's working like a real glue, similar like used for cars, but for cars they use black, but we use a transparent one, so it's just fitting into it, and if something goes wrong, can be removed. It's not going to reaction with the plastic or with the two component paint, so this glue is pretty much doing the job. I used at multiple spots and places, and it's sticking the window to it. So when you build these custom 3D printed or resin models, this paint can help your life. Everything will go good after the unnecessary paints can be removed after cured with your glue and with your hand. The cure time is few minutes, but the whole day needs to have a full curing cycle. But after few minutes, there is a minimum sticking already that it's providing. So it's very forgiving. You need to fit all edges of the window to the body. If not, start fitting after not sticking into it, and you need to adjust, restart. The lamps are printed with transparent resin, coloring these lamps with transparent AK colors paint. It's a red one. Each of the 3 sections will be red. And for the front lamps, I'm using simple Mr. Hobby Mr. Color GX 100 gloss varnish. You have to cover and coat all 3D printed transparent materials, otherwise they are yellowing and not transparent enough. So you have to. Painting matte black the engine cover. This is a V8 engine, beautiful look. This gives some details to the engine. Detailing the chassis, the elements further. If you put some dust, grease, oil It gives extra dimension to the surface. Sometimes it's better than a paint. You need to find the right balance, what is necessary for that certain of model, what details of weathering. It's based on your fantasy. Also, some of these elements won't be visible after assemble. Just coloring the knobs. Painting the center of the wheel. It's a silver, chrome silver acrylic paint, which not hurting the base lacquer paint. And also coloring the buttons. For these 3D models you don't have speedometer. I just used an other one from a Corvette one. I just cut the shape. The handbrake. This is a separate element from the main body shell. You can add extra details into it. The gearbox. Have to mount the dash to the cage and glue it. You can also insert the seats if the cage has installed. There is enough space. I use this way because I can guarantee that the seat is fitting to the right place and the cage not changing after the place. So I use this way, exactly go to the remaining space, and I put the glue under the seat already. Also you need to glue the cage, otherwise it's moving after you assemble the whole body. I left the pedals, but there is enough space to put into the cage the pedals. Everything in place, so let's go with the wheels. So you need to glue together the wheel and the rim. I use some soft glues because an instant glue can fix it at an unwanted place. So I use soft glues, just cure a little bit and only go ahead after. Also this stage you can easily hurt the wheel itself with a strong glue. So I'm not recommending any strong glue this stage. Some extra detailing required. So I cut some adhesive black material, adhesive on the other side, and the back, so the rear lamps needs to be decorated like a classic Mustang one. These lines needs to be added onto that. You can paint these lines if you want, but much easier just put these adhesive stickers into it. Otherwise you don't need to mask to a shape like, because the whole lamp would be masked. So now it's the reverse shape you need. So it's much faster and you get the same look and feel. And I have painted with silver the back of the lamp to represent a real lamp structure with some reflective surface. The front lamps, there is an X like the race cars in the front, so I also use the same method with this adhesive black plastic material. Again, it's easier than mask it and paint it. Like the real sticky tapes on the lamps. Okay, and the front lamp's base also needs to be colored. The paint type is monotone, chrome paint, pan paint. The brand is Molotov. Check if it's available in your country. It's widely used, but this is lacquer base, so I had to be very careful, just keep within the area. This giving a very reflective look and feel, like a real chrome. And I attached the lamp. To the lamp I used some Revel glue for transparent elements. Or you can use epoxy resin also if you want. For these attachments, Revel Clear does its job well. There is enough space also for the rear lamps not to fall out. You have to glue it. Again, some non-solvent based glue. The brake calipers in this model are black, and the original model I use some black acrylic paint. The exhaust pipe was a bit tricky one, so I had to assemble from 3 parts. I used some flexible glue, epoxy resin glue, otherwise I won't be able to fit into the place. So I fit to the left side, then I fit to the right side and let this epoxy resin still stick together and then get back to the shape. That was my trick. This is also an improvement design idea for the STL model maker. That this stage is hardly attachable, but with this trick it's made it happen. without falling off. It was okay. And the other side of the exhaust pipe to the engine, it can be attached with instant glue as well, doesn't matter. Some weathering for the radiators. It's useful to put some color and some dirt, because this will be visible from front or when they're opening up the engine hood. This stage I use gloves most of the cases, not to hurt the body with any fingerprint or any glues, not to go to the body. After you assemble the chassis, you should glue it, not to falling off apart, including the rear bottom spoiler, the diffuser, the wheel is always a tricky one for each custom-made models. So there is a wheel inner hub that you have to glue to the wheel itself first. That's fitting to that. After the wheel hub going into the disc, in the center of the disc, so you have to glue the disc brake first to the center position. After you're done with that, you can attach now the wheels and use instant glue for the wheels, because you have to set a proper position that will fitting. And that's the first few seconds are the most critical if you use an instant glue. You need to check the angles proper. So I'm mixing which parts I'm using which glue based on the need what it requires. And this stage, be careful to use any instant glue for any outer elements, just for any inner elements. Any outer elements, use just lightweight glues. It can hurt the varnish and the body quickly, can mess up your paint. Same for any front bumpers, I used very soft glues. If not dealing with huge weight, you can use any soft one. Not to damage this stage, your project. Some detailing of the closure lids, the bonnet. These are actually 3D printed to the surface, not ideal. I did not sand down, I just let it happen. Paint and varnish went on the top, so I just marking the place. Same to the bolts at other places, marking them. The rear bumper. Fitting perfectly. The front lower spoiler. This gives a nice character for the car, reminds me a Pikes Peak car. this is really making this Hoonicorn look and feel, and also the tail. Spoiler, also it's tricky to attach this stage not to hurt the body, so again you should use some soft glue strong enough to keep on that but not hurting the body and surface. I used epoxy resin glue. And also I attached with similar method these 4 supports to it. Assemble the hood. Some weathering to the wheels. This golden color, it's too gold, shiny, no dust, so just a little dirt around, like a real dirt going on the street. Beautiful look and feel. Believe or not, this is one of my best look and feel model I made. It's impressed me. Much detailed than I expected. It was a wonderful journey. I recommending you to build your own, have it printed, have it prime painted, coated, have your own stickers. It was a wonderful journey. I recommending for everybody to make it. I feel so motivated, me and also the followers, so thousands of views followed. I made this big episode together to finish. I hope you enjoyed. This will give you energy to make your own. And see you soon on the channel. Thank you. Thank you for watching Modern Hackers. Please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed.